So recently I've been just uploading a bunch of content, short form content about breeding Celestial Pearl Danios. And I figured since I'm already doing that and I'm enjoying it a lot, why don't I just send it and post a long form video and try to teach you guys how to breed Celestial Pearl Danios, how I do it, and just walk you guys through the process. Alright, so first thing you're going to need is something to catch the eggs in. So right here I just have a little container that I saved from Petco when I bought a betta fish. And I made my own little net or screen, plastic screen right here. I used a 3D pen to do that. It was pretty easy. There's many other ways you can do that. I'm not going to dive into it in this video. I'm going to keep it super simple. So the basics of what you're going to need are just something to catch the eggs in, a screen to prevent the adults from going in and eating the eggs, and then in that container, whatever you pick, you're going to want a spawning media. I chose Christmas moss, I believe it is. You could do Java moss, subwasser tank, anything that's fine and that will attract the fish to breed in will be perfect. The next thing you're going to need is something to hatch the eggs and raise the fry up when they're still very small. I have a Fluval hang-on breeder box right here. This is the smaller size. I believe it was around 20 bucks on Amazon. It makes it really easy. You can use other little containers, but all I have to do with this is hang it on my tank. This is a 10-gallon tank, by the way. And then you get the attachment, which also comes with it. Make sure that's secured and attach it to an air line. And when I let air into this, water will start pumping out. And that will eventually fill up and pour out the overflow. One important thing to note though is that when the fry hatch, they're very small. They're not strong swimmers. You need to have a piece of foam to prevent the fry from swimming out, getting sucked out of the overflow. Now, I have experienced that they will get stuck in here. Some will die, but this will prevent most of the fry from leaving your breeder box if you're using one. And overall, this is the way to go. Alright, the breeder box is full already, but before we fill it up and collect the eggs, I want to show you guys how I fatten up all my fish, including the CPDs, and how you can do that too at home. So I use my own ice cube tray and I hatch my own baby brine shrimp. If you don't know how to do that, there's plenty of videos on YouTube. If I get enough requests, I can make my own video, but I bought this mini ice cube tray off of eBay for like $5 or less. And when I hatch baby brine shrimp, after feeding the live ones to all my fish, got a bunch of tanks. A little bit of an obsession, but anyway, I throw the remaining ones in here. This was from one batch. I do pretty big batches, but when I'm trying to fatten up my fish, I just take this out of the freezer and I pop 1 or 2 cubes in the tank with the fish that I'm trying to fatten up. Super easy. You can just throw it in and they love it. They'll go crazy. But brine shrimp are full of proteins, healthy fats. They really just get your fish super healthy and ready to breed. Although baby brine shrimp are a great way to fatten up your fish and condition them for breeding, I realize that some of you might be unable to get your hands on that type of food, or you don't want to hatch your own. So I will say that flake food can work. Now, it's not as easy. I would recommend getting a higher quality flake food. I by Fluval Bug Bites flakes. These are made out of insect larvae, high protein content. They're better quality flake food. But that being said, it is possible, but I do recommend live or frozen foods. All right, now we're gonna collect the eggs. I'll show you guys how to do this. Super easy, self-explanatory. I'll show you how I do it. So I just reach in the tank, get my hands wet, and I take the container out. I'll drain some of the water out and put it up here. And I have a rock here holding down my moss. I'll take that out. And I like to just remove this moss for now. Just put that over there. And then I'll pour a little back in, just softly. Don't want to lose our eggs. But then we'll take this out. Just pop it right up. And we will usually have a decent amount of eggs in here. Alright, so I'm getting a good shot of the eggs right here. They're in the middle of the screen. I'll highlight them. But I'd say I have a decent amount in here, and we're just going to pour that into the breeder box. Alright, we got the eggs poured in here. I'm going to show you guys how I reset my egg collector. I'll just put my screen back in, put some moss down, put the rock in, hold the moss down while I'm filling it up with water, and I will place it back into the tank, and that way I can keep collecting eggs. Alright, so I'm getting a shot close up of these eggs here, and as you can see, there's also a tiny little fry that has already hatched. Now that was in for about a week while I was hatching another batch, but I tend to leave it in for a couple days and then pull them and collect the eggs out. You can do whatever you want. It's pretty simple. You could do one day. Just make sure your fish are spawning. Alrighty, so we've pretty much covered all the setup and how to collect the eggs. Now I want to show you quickly how I first feed the eggs and what you need to do. So the only food that I have fed mine in their first couple weeks is bug bites. These are Hikari Trophy. Hikari Tropical First Bites. This is a powdered food. You can use it on a lot of newborn fish, but I tend to start feeding them a couple days after they're hatched, when they have fully absorbed their egg sacs. So I'll show you guys some footage of a previous batch that I've hatched out. I'll be posting more updates on my channel as those grow up. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a thumbs up. Alright, so this is where I transferred my previous batch of Celestial Pearl Danios. It's about a 2-gallon tub. I have a green water culture going in there. I could go into depth on how to make yourself one of those. If you're interested, drop a comment. You can see some of the fish in here. There's about 30 fry. But I'll post more updates as they grow up. And yeah.